All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining in. It's the first edition, first episode. I am your host, Kevin Howard, One Eye Scout. My man, Coach Anwar King,
Yes, sir.
founder of Quality Academy Prep and Progress Only, my co-host, and we're going to tackle some topics that are really kind of prevalent um, here around San Antonio. So, hey, King, I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself again and some other program, and then we'll move on from there.
My name is Coach Anwar King from New Jersey. Relocated to San Antonio, Texas recently within the last year. I am the founder and head coach for Quality Academy Prep as well as Progress Only uh, AAU team on the Adidas Gold Circuit.
Yeah, it's funny. I know that you and I have kind of gone round about getting different people to teams, and you know, we both noticed that there seems to be people going to not the top teams.
Mhm.
So why don't you go ahead and kind of address that, your thought process with that?
Um, I think it's a nationwide thing. When you've been around a lot of places, every kid wants to play for whatever team that has the most notoriety. But just talking basketball, not downgrading anybody or anything of that sort. Most teams that are fully sponsored, they're out recruiting and bringing certain kids in. So the only problem that I see with it is one or two things that normally happens. Most kids that really do have some game when they're going to teams that have some kind of wave or some kind of notoriety, when they're going to the workouts or the tryouts for these teams, either they're not getting a fair shot or they're basically baiting themselves in for playing behind somebody. And again, I'm never one to tell somebody to run away from the competition because it's basically what you're going to go to in college. But at the end of the day, when you're going from high school to AAU, the whole process or the whole theory is you playing for one, you playing in front of coaches, and you trying to enhance from whatever the time frame that you had in high school to going back to your high school.
Yeah, and like you said, that we've seen opportunities where there'll be like 30, 40 people advertise. They had 70 kids come out for tryouts.
Yeah, definitely.
And like you said, how many of those slots are actually open?
Yeah.
Um,
At the end of the day, is for the most part, most teams don't carry no more than two individuals per person. And it's always have a thought process because again, I've been in the just like I've had to beat before. If you're gonna play with it, beat with it.
well, I'm just going to paraphrase what I think you were saying because it chopped up a little bit. But most teams only carry 7, 8, 9 kids if they're getting really quality time. I mean, look at in a high school season, John Jay really only went 6 deep, sometimes seven. Um, that may not be a great example, but
These guys are gonna go
you
to where they
know,
go to college. A lot, a lot of
hmm?
a lot of people don't pay attention to that part, but it's the same thing when you're in college. Most kids are probably gonna start off with like a math thing, maybe 9, maybe dropping the seven for the most part. max 8 guys on the rotation.
Yeah. Um, you know, let's talk about. I do want to make sure that we talk about the prep school. And I spoken to you once or twice about I'm not really familiar with the whole prep school, and you shared a lot with me that kind of helped me understand. But I'd like for you to start sharing some of what you've told me. Prep school versus JUCO prep school versus Division 1 prep school versus just talk about prep school for a little bit.
Prep school, again, everybody has their different definitions according to the program, according to myself and or the coach. Everybody's gonna have their different definitions. My definition of prep school is a student that in some shape, form, or fashion is ready for college. Again, you have guys that may have the GPAs, so going to prep school and enhancing their GPAs, guys that were talented but didn't, or they didn't have the most talented teammates, so they put them around other guys the same form when they're playing around other talent. A lot of guys just write phone calls or email forms, so they've never played in front of coaches and stuff like that. Just I had a kid about going here was one of the first times he really played high level basketball was around day in and day out of productivity as far as development is concerned. It was the first time that he was around in the weight room a little bit. The kid was about 6'9", jump out the building. So majority of things that he was doing, it was extremely raw, regular talent. Go into his high school, had coaches that were full time at these schools. So the only time that this kid really got the side of a G was at practice at his high school. You know what I mean? So that's not really a lot of time for a kid to develop and know the game and stuff like that. Especially if you're not playing for a coach that is extremely anal about like how much stuff that they're emphasizing on when it comes to details and things like that. So at the end of the year, the kid wound up picking up about 3 offers. I was extremely happy for him. Everything he picked up 3 offers. He was like leading the state in rebounds and blocks. But I told the kid he wasn't ready for college still. He definitely had took some strides forward, but I knew he wasn't ready for the mere fact that he hadn't been through any workouts individual wise or anything at early at 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. He wasn't used to none of that stuff yet. So I
Yeah.
told him, I said, again, I'm not just saying it because at that time I had just went into the prep scene, but this is when I was going from the JUCO to the prep scene. Excuse me. I told him I didn't want him doing it just because I was going to the prep scene, but I knew he wasn't ready for what was going to come about with the school that was actually talking to him. Other people were telling him, "No, you got the scholarship offer. Take it, take it." Cool. I want to say December. I run into the kid at the mall. I'm asking, this is midday. I'm asking, like, why are you at the mall midday when you should be studying stuff? He told me he had nutritional classes and he wasn't in college right now. I'm asking what happened. He was like, we had 6 o'clock in the morning individual. I had class at 8:30. Then we had another team weightlifting at 5, followed by practice in the afternoon. It was too much for me, coach. I told you this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I told you this was gonna happen. Like I knew you weren't ready. It wasn't no downgrade to you individually from how your game wasn't nothing, but you just weren't ready for that day in and day out stuff. Not to mention you were going to a Division 2 college that was getting into a good wave as far as winning, bringing in more talent and stuff. So the
Yeah.
expectations, the things that these kids get away with in high school because they don't have to do things on a day in and day out basis when you get to college is not that way. It doesn't even have to be a top tier college. At the end of the day, it's college, and there are expectations from the last guy to the first guy on the roster, and
Yes.
if expectations, if standards aren't a thing of yours, it's going to be a struggle for guys going into college. So again, just like you were saying about with the whole JUCO thing that's going around right now, a lot of these kids are saying, "I'm gonna take this JUCO offer. I'm gonna take this JUCO offer." At the end of the day, if you're not ready for college, you're gonna go to these JUCOs. Your clock isn't gonna start, so that's a benefit for you. But you're gonna go to these JUCOs and still sit. Because what's now going to happen, and again, this is conversation I'm having with coaches at high level D1 schools, coaches I'm even talking to at JUCOs. They're about to bring in a lot of these international guys. A lot,
Man, I
a lot of
have.
people, a lot of people don't know, but and pay attention. But majority of these guys that are coming from these foreign countries, they're already playing pro in these countries.
Yes.
Playing pro in most countries, depending on where you're at. Let me say that playing pro, depending on where you're at, is basically like you having a job while you're also in school. So,
Yes.
but it's still being more advanced because at the end of the day, if you're playing pro at 15, 16 years old, some guys are 14 years old, you're already getting concepts on different systems of basketball. These kids are coming into me at my prep school, and if I'm saying set up in the double stagger, set up in the pins, set up in the Princeton, set up in the Iverson, these kids are looking at me like, what the fuck am I doing? These are basic concepts that the guys should be learning back in middle school, and they're not. But with these foreign kids, this stuff is being taught to them before they're learning how to do a euro, before they're learning how to do a behind the back, between, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
They're not skipping these steps. They're more advanced than us. So again, like that's about to be a wave. These JUCOs are about to bring these foreign kids over that are already pros because at the end of the day, now for the JUCOs, it's going to be what's going to give us more clout to sending guys to higher level schools or getting guys to scholarship schools.
Yes.
Now the
You
JUCOs
know.
are going to be in theory with okay, I'm only sending three guys to Division 1 schools. Or I'm only sending three guys to scholarship schools. If I'm bringing in three guys from France that are all 6'4", 6'5", been playing pro since they got here, and now they're coming into a JUCO in Texas, a JUCO in Kansas. There's more teaching that they got to do. There's much
Yeah.
more teaching that they got to do. These guys are gonna come from these foreign countries. They're gonna know what different systems are. So, coach, all he got to do is say stuff, not have to demonstrate. These guys are gonna be on go.
You know, that's one thing that I've liked.
All that
Hmm?
stuff.
That's one thing I've liked. You know, I went uh, to one of your tryouts, and you taught so much during your tryout. It must be, you know, a teacher's background to some extent, but it was just very natural for you. So I'm assuming that means you've had to do that numerous amounts of times with these kids that are coming from public schools or regular high schools. Um, you know that has to be a epidemic of sorts.
I try to make teaching different aspects of the game a staple of mine, just for the mere fact that at the end of the day, whether you're a high school coach, prep coach, even JUCO coach, when you're sending guys to 4-year schools, every coach has some kind of a system. And
Hmm.
the last thing that you want is a kid that isn't ready or doesn't have any kind of insight on different systems. Me, I played point guard all of my life, so playing the point guard, you got to be able to make adjustments, and making adjustments comes according to you being able to put people in the right spots. And the easiest way to put guys in the right spots is just knowing a wide load and array of different things that can work. Again,
Hmm.
end of the day, especially at the college level, most coaches have like some kind of set system, whether it's the Princeton, whether it's going to Zooms. Like most coaches have one set thing. I try to throw in different array of things so that way when these kids go to Villanova, if this kid goes to Jefferson College, wherever they go, they're not they're now not shell shocked with what system they're about to have to run.
Yeah, I think we go back to one of the things that you talked about the young man that had come back home by Christmas. You know, at a lot of these JUCOs, these kids got to understand that they're going to bring in 20, 25 players. that they've signed,
Yep.
and they're gonna start practice, and they're gonna practice until there's 24, until there's 21, until there's 18, and they'll probably stop and start teaching when that number gets around the top 13 or 14 players. Because they'll have a couple of red shirts. But that was the biggest eye opener for me, man. I thought we ran a lot in high school, and we're out there in West Texas, and they talking about a 5 mile run. Just to start off. You know,
So
but I think that's something that's hard for kids.
when I was coming through the JUCO system, I went to my first JUCO was County College of Baltimore in Dundalk. There was
Hmm.
another school and there was another JUCO in my conference by the name of Cecil Community College in Maryland. Community College right now, they're getting a lot of notoriety picking back up. When I was in JUCO, Cecil was top five. Coach that anybody coming in, or freshman, had to sit out that entire first year. Coach had it set that way. Anybody coming in as a freshman or transfer had to sit out. So his reasoning for having guys sit out was one, if you are coming in and don't have enough credits, he's making sure you graduate.
Yeah,
That was one. His second reasoning was he had a system that he wanted ran to a T, and he knows guys circumstances. Some guys pick up on things, some guys don't. Pick up on my system within the year you sitting out, coming back the following year, you can't play at all.
yeah,
Within that time frame of that year that you sit out, he also gets to build a relationship with you that at the end of the year, you're gonna give him the answer whether or not you can survive in this system or not. That coach, when I was playing against him, I want to say he was there for at least 10 to 15 years. He coached not losing
hey,
5 games.
MRE. Mhm.
You got me? Like not losing no more than 5 games on
Yeah,
an
go
every year
back.
standard, and sending anywhere from 8 to 10 guys to Division I schools. Like most guys would say, like that's a
Wow.
crazy system, but the system worked for him to a T, to a T. So
Yeah. Well, let's look at one more thing, and then we can kind of cut it down or shut it down.
got you.
I appreciate the people that stayed on. Had technical difficulties, and I made sure to tell them, man, you've never been late, and you weren't late today. We just had to figure it out.
Man,
Um,
now I know how to get through. I know how to get through it faster. So we gonna be good.
yeah. Um, you know, let's talk about real quickly. Uh, there's probably 1,000 trainers, even in San Antonio.
Yeah.
But how many train and develop? You want to speak to that right
So
quick?
me being from Jersey, and where I'm from, Jersey, we're right next to New York. So anybody knows anything about Jersey, New York, there's a lot of guys that had a lot of stature and stuff like that. And I want to say right before COVID, there was a wave of trainers just coming about. It's guys that, again, for one reason or another, they stopped playing, and now they're just trying to, at the end of the day, make some kind of money with, and they're using them making money by doing something that they know best, which is basketball. Um,
Hmm.
I personally always try to categorize trainers because at the end of the day, I like I like knowing that each one of these kids has the option to stay in the gym. When I was growing up, we didn't have 1,000 trainers like this.
Yeah.
We have now. We have people understand intermediate stuff, whatever the case may be. 9 times out of 10, we had our AU coach or our high school coach is some guy that we stuck on to. Outside of that, we didn't have 1,000 trainers like these kids do. But it keeps them in the gym, it keeps them active and not out and about, not doing stuff that they could be doing, whatever the case may be. Long story. my personal thing is I feel like the guys that have the title as a trainer, they should be categorizing themselves for the mere fact that majority of the kids that you see that are being posted by whatever trainer is not you don't see trainers posting this kid turning the ball over or trying to go between his legs and bouncing it off his knee. They're posting all of the good stuff, but that's ideally what's marketed, right?
Yeah.
So if that's what we're gonna post, guys need to be going more so into specifics with as far as what days they're training. There are some guys that are more ball handle specialists. There are guys that are shooting and shooting mechanics. There are rare that guys are literally teaching the full game and giving breakdown. If you go back to like back in Jersey, we got a guy by the name of Delson Trini. A lot of guys go to him. I feel like, and I always told them this, there's a guy that I grew up around and everything. Delson's a ball handle specialist. I've literally seen him have guys that are at Division I schools. They come with him for the summertime and little dribbling tactics that they did not have within the summer, they've now picked up on. He's guys. I've seen guys that couldn't shoot come to him for a summer. Now they're coming back into their sophomore year of college, and now they're shooting 47% from the three. No, these guys have all enhanced their ball handling. So to me, he's a ball handle specialist. There's
Hey,
no,
hey,
yeah,
Anwar,
go ahead.
Anwar. Hey, Red, go ahead and submit your question, and we'll make sure we get to it. All right, go ahead, Anwar.
Go ahead.
No, you were talking about how
I'm
you.
sorry. So yeah, I personally feel like the trainers need to specify what they're specializing in more because everybody isn't a trainer at the end of the day. And only thing again, like it's a business for them. So I understand why guys aren't notarizing the kids that are coming into them at a young age and they're developing them. And there's also
Mhm.
a stint where kids are starting off with certain people at a certain age, and if they start getting better, they go to somebody else. That stuff could also play in the factor with who's giving them free workouts and people that aren't charging them. Like all of the stuff varies, but there's a very short count. I don't care what level you're going on as far as guys that are trainers and guys that are developers. The developers are
Yeah,
guys that have kids when they're young, and it's the same guy that's training kids when those are developers. Guys that just got guys in the gym and they're doing the same workouts with each and every kid, no matter the age, no matter the grade, no matter where they're at as far as talent wise, those are the
yeah. I think I agree with you, man, and that's been one of my frustrations here lately. Is you see a lot of guys training, and it always is interesting when at the end of your senior year,
same.
all of a sudden, guys want to start coming back to the doghouse or come back to places where they were getting developed,
Yeah.
you know, and we talked, me and you talked about it, like today, um, talked on the phone, checked on some guys that are been waiting that are about to commit to the that are about to commit to junior colleges.
Yeah.
Man, the Michael Foster, I'm gonna beat you, son. Uh, the the portal's about to open,
Portal
and
been
that's
open.
gonna where it's about to hit
The
high
portal been
season.
open.
Yeah,
Anybody that didn't get to have 10 plus shots a game, anybody that had to work on a daily basis and do what they wanted to do, those guys are already in the portal.
yeah, and so high school recruiting is gonna go on hold, and so like let me. So I was talking with a parent about your program,
Uh huh.
and first and foremost, where would you like to get the biggest majority of players from? What area?
I honestly don't have a specification. Like as long as I actually got asked that question tonight or earlier today. Like, where do I get my kids from? This might have been the first year that I had my program that I actually did have a foreign kid on the team, but I don't have a specific place. The first year Quality Academy prep was brought into existence. Majority of my team was from New York. I had 6 or 7 guys all from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
6 guys from Brooklyn. I had 3 kids from Philadelphia, another kid from North Carolina, and 2 guys from Jersey. The next year coming in, I had 2 from Philadelphia. I had a kid from South Carolina, a kid from Kentucky, and about 5 guys from Jersey. Like every year that I've had it, it varies, and that's the benefit. Not benefit, but that's the test of the relationships I've had with different places at the end of the day. And like again, I tell everybody at the top of my mind is I'm not big on social media, even though it's something that I'm working on, and even though it's something that has enhanced since I started. But I'm more big on my relationships, my networking, and word of mouth.
yeah, and I've seen that in our year together. Um, what is your goal with Quality Academy Prep? Like, what are you striving to do?
My personal goal every year. I know it sounds a little cliche, but I just want to make sure I'm separating the guys that say that they want to play college basketball and the guys that actually do want to play college basketball. And outside of that, I just want
Mhm.
to make sure. Outside, I just want to make sure I'm preparing guys for college because, like I've always said, me coaching at different levels of college basketball, me being from the playing side, I've been that guy. I've been a piece of the puzzle. I've had coaches that didn't help, and I've had coaches that worked outside of their paycheck. So I've me having the the multitude of different things that come along with it. I try to make sure I bring all the differences. I don't have a set goal every year to making sure we win X and no amount of games, even though winning games do bring a little bit more of attention. At the end of the day, my key thing, and I stick to it, is I got 6 months to do what you and or your high school coach couldn't do in 4 years or didn't do enough of. So as long as I'm making sure guys are have a heads up or they're in the hands of things, like my job is done at the end of
All right. I about games being played, right?
the uh-huh.
I know that this past year you did some things with OTR and Marcus Sloan. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? I mean, shout out Sloan because he puts a lot of things together.
Nah, for sure. Me moving to Texas again, anybody that knows me back home, I got a lot of connections and relationships for a lot of things. Coming out here, I pretty much had to start over it. It was a humbling thing for one. For two, it put me in a space work ethic wise that you never want to get complacent with. Always having winning ways and stuff like that. You want to make sure that you got some type of hunger and stuff like that. So me coming out here and me reaching out to a few people that I know that know me, Marcus Sloan came out and initially me reaching out to him didn't get a response at first, but once I did get a response, there was communication going back and forth, and as we did the SWAC conference, had actually put me on some different events throughout the year, things that I didn't know was he put me on some things just so that way I can know what's going on out here in Texas in case we do go
Yeah,
and I'm gonna do it the Jersey way and stuff like that. He helped me a lot with a lot of things.
that's cool, man. I don't know him. I don't know him very well. I've seen him a few places, but that's you always said good things about him. So that's been good. Um,
I
man,
appreciate
we've
it. as
Go
crazy
ahead.
as crazy as it sounds, I think somebody like Sloan actually sets a tone for something that we teach to these kids. And right now, it's probably in one ear and out the other because majority of these kids, are pretty much all the kids are still in playing mode, so you can't tell them nothing. But guys like Sloan give you the prime example of basketball after your playing days. A lot of
Yeah,
people, once they can't play no more, they really are stuck at what to do. Even guys that are trying to go into coaching, a lot of guys don't know have the easiest path. So guys like Sloan that had the stature that they had in high school, in college, playing in countries when they're done. Now, once the playing part goes out of the whack, they're using the platform that they built as players and utilizing it to give guys another option to have options. Because take away guys like him, they can have the stature and the resume that they have and walk around
yeah,
bragging all day. I'm pretty sure San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, all major cities got those guys that had those crazy stat lines and when they played in high school and college, and every day of the week they talk about shit that they did back in the day. They got nothing to show for it right now. Guys like Sloan have those platforms, have that background. They're still utilizing it now for somebody else.
yeah. That's facts. And with progress only, I know y'all are headed to Houston this weekend, um, and you're actually playing an event where Sloan and RCS Sports this year teamed up with the
They they,
Icebreaker.
they both got two events going on down there, so I know it's going to be a lot of tension going on down. Even me, I'm one of those AAU coaches that I don't like doing events right before Final Four because I know it's picky about how many or what coaches are actually going to come out. But I know with two people that have stature in the state of Texas, let alone over in the Houston area, both doing events is going to bring a good turnout, and it's going to be some kind of eyes being on these guys that are playing AU for us.
Yeah, I that's Marcus Sloan. That's Mr. Jim Hicks and my guy Doug Jones. He's always been treating me right, man. I like those guys. I got love for Houston. I just wish that and hope that and plan to San Antonio start winning more ball games against Houston.
Got you. Did,
It's gonna
did Red
happen.
did Red question come up?
Red, no, I think no. I got to start telling them just to go ahead and post the question.
Yeah,
Uh, so, but man, I appreciate it getting on, and you know what? It might be easier. Maybe we shift it to 9 and just have a little bit later night. That
I
way,
got
it's
you.
less stress on you.
I got you.
You know. But man, I got the pieces I wanted for tonight. I hope the people got the pieces they needed, and I know we're gonna have hot topics coming
Another
again.
thing I think we should add on talking for from here on out. I think we should start getting people to send us some questions in the DM, and we can try to answer some questions that people may have from the outside looking in. I know a lot of
Yeah,
stuff we started talking about
yeah,
is stuff that questions that we or conversations that we have with each other. And some of it may be things that people have, but the more questions that people from the outside may have coming into us, we can try to answer questions and make things easier from there.
that's true, man. Great idea. Everybody, you're watching TAN TV, African American Network, with local feel and a global reach. You're going to be able to look for us at the San Antonio High School All Star Game. We'll be there with the San Antonio Sports Association, and then we'll be at the Final Four. We'll be at the HBCU All Star Game, and then we'll be at the High School Coach Association's uh, event. So a lot of big things on the horizon. I thank you, Coach Anwar King, my man King. Always a great time talking with you, and
Always.
we'll be back again. And right now, we're out like a scout.
Look forward to talking.